The roar of motorcycle engines echoed through the quiet morning at a construction site, where workers were busy with their tasks. Among them was Sergeant Maria Hayes, a no-nonsense soldier turned project supervisor, known for her sharp wit and unshakable composure. Maria was there to ensure everything ran smoothly, but little did she know the day was about to take an unexpected turn. A group of bikers rolled up, loud and full of swagger, blocking the entrance. At first, it seemed like harmless mischief, but their taunts quickly escalated. The men underestimated Maria, assuming she was just another worker they could intimidate. What they didn't know was that Maria's military training had prepared her for moments like these. As tensions rose and the bikers grew bolder, Maria stayed calm, her eyes narrowing. What happened next would leave everyone stunned. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Maria didn't flinch as the bikers revved their engines, their smirks daring her to react. Behind her, the construction crew paused, watching nervously. Everyone knew this wasn't the first time trouble had rolled onto the site, but Maria was new here. They weren't sure how she'd handle it, or if she even could. One of the bikers, a burly guy with a skull patch on his leather jacket, stepped forward, gesturing toward the equipment. "Looks like you've got some fancy toys here. Mind if we borrow a few?" His tone dripped with mockery, but Maria's steady gaze didn't waver. She took a slow step toward him, her boots crunching against the gravel. "What's the real issue here?" Maria asked, her voice calm but firm. Her question seemed to catch him off guard, but the others laughed. The leader leaned in closer. "The issue is, you're in our way." Maria stood her ground, her sharp eyes scanning the group. She wasn't intimidated. She'd faced worse situations in combat zones. The construction workers whispered among themselves, unsure whether to intervene or step back. The bikers thrived on the attention, grinning as though they'd already won. The leader's smirk widened when Maria didn't move. "You don't seem to get it, lady." "This isn't a request," he said, his voice dripping with arrogance. Maria's lips twitched into the faintest smile. "And you don't seem to get who you're talking to," she replied evenly, her voice carrying the weight of authority. Her calmness was unnerving, even to the bikers, though they didn't show it. One of the younger bikers, looking less confident, whispered something to the leader, but he brushed it off. The group's bravado was starting to crack. Maria could sense it, but she wasn't ready to make her move, yet. The air around them felt heavy as Maria took another step closer, closing the gap between her and the leader. The bikers exchanged uneasy glances, their bravado fading under the weight of her unwavering confidence. The construction workers held their breath, unsure if they were about to witness a full-blown confrontation. The leader crossed his arms, trying to maintain control. "You think you're tough, don't you?" He sneered, but there was a flicker of doubt in his eyes. Maria tilted her head slightly, her gaze steady. "Tough enough to finish this without a scene," she replied. Her voice was calm, but there was an edge to it that hinted at her readiness for anything. Just then, a faint sound crackled through her radio. "Back up." She had called for reinforcements earlier, knowing this could escalate. The bikers hadn't noticed it yet, but Maria did. And she wasn't about to back down. Maria's calm demeanor seemed to unnerve the leader even more. He stepped back slightly, trying to mask his hesitation with a laugh. "You're all talk," he said, but his voice lacked the confidence it had earlier. The other bikers were growing restless, their bravado starting to crumble as the tension thickened. Before anyone could react, a sudden noise erupted behind them. A loud clang of metal falling to the ground. Everyone turned to see one of the younger bikers stumbling away from a piece of construction equipment he'd been tampering with. The crew rushed forward, shouting at him to stop. The leader spun around, furious. What are you doing? I told you not to touch anything yet. Maria seized the moment. Looks like your crew doesn't follow orders as well as you think, she said, her voice sharp and deliberate. The bikers' unity was unraveling, and Maria knew she could use it to her advantage. But just as she prepared to act, a sleek black SUV pulled up to the site's entrance, tires crunching on the gravel. The bikers turned to face the vehicle, their faces twisting into a mix of recognition and unease. Maria's eyes narrowed. Whoever was inside had just changed the game entirely. The SUV door opened slowly, and out stepped a sharply dressed man with an air of authority. His piercing gaze swept over the scene, locking first on the bikers, then on Maria. The leader's confidence dissolved entirely, replaced by a nervous grin. "Boss," he muttered, stepping forward, "we were just handling some business." The man raised a hand, silencing him. "Business? Looks to me like you're about to ruin mine." His voice was calm, but carried a chilling weight. Maria pieced it together. This wasn't just a random group of bikers. They were muscle for someone much bigger, and now their boss had shown up. Maria stayed composed, her military instincts kicking in. "You might want to check what kind of business your crew's getting into," she said, nodding toward the damaged equipment. "I have cameras all over this site." The boss's expression darkened. "Is that true?" he demanded, turning to the leader. The man stammered, unable to answer. Suddenly, the faint sound of sirens echoed in the distance. The bikers looked panicked. Maria's reinforcements were close, and she wasn't bluffing about the evidence. "Looks like time's up," she said, her voice calm but commanding. The boss hesitated, then motioned to his crew. "Get out of here." Now, the bikers scrambled to their bikes, their bravado completely gone. As the SUV pulled away, Maria let out a slow breath. But as the dust settled, one of the construction workers approached her, holding something small and metallic. "You might want to see this," he said. It was a strange keychain left behind by one of the bikers, bearing a symbol Maria recognized from classified military briefings. The real story wasn't over yet. Maria studied the keychain in her hand, its symbol sparking memories of classified briefings from her military days. This wasn't just about petty intimidation. There was something bigger at play. She tucked it into her pocket, her mind already turning over the possibilities. As the police arrived and began taking statements, the construction crews slowly returned to work. A few of them approached Maria, their earlier doubts replaced with gratitude and respect. "Didn't think you'd handle them like that," one worker admitted. Maria gave a small smile. Sometimes, staying calm is the best weapon. By the end of the day, the site was back to normal. The bikers were gone, but Maria couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something larger. As she walked to her truck, she glanced at the keychain again. Whatever it meant, she'd be ready. For now, the site, and her crew, were safe.